Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be my monthly installment of Shop My Stash. So that is a series that I do here on my channel where I pull in a full face of products to just give some more love to, figure out if I still want them in my collection, use them up a little bit, make some progress in on them. I come back, report my findings, and then we turn around to pick new products for the next month together. So if that sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, let's just get into it. All right, so there's really no time to waste. I have quite a few products to talk about today. We had some hits, we had some wins, but let's just get started with primer like I always do. This is the Cover FX Gripping Primer. It's only half a fluid ounce. I should be finished with this already, but I'm not. You don't need that much of this product. It's actually a really nice gripping primer. I think one of the first gripping primers that really kind of became popular. This is before the Milk Hydro Grip, and I do really enjoy this primer, but I have to be careful with it. Like, I am wearing it today. Everything that I'm wearing is always listed in the description box below. And I think I just didn't let it sit long enough because with my foundation, it kind of pilled a little bit. And I don't love how my makeup's looking. I think the base just kind of looks, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm having a good makeup day today. And I know it's the primer, not my other products, because I've used them separately. Today was the first day that I used this in conjunction with the foundation I'm about to talk about. And it's not my favorite. So I would like to finish this up. It's not, it's not very full. And I think I could do it. It does work very well when you pair it with the right foundation. We'll just get started talking about the foundations. I pulled in the Guerlain Terracotta Le Tint. So this is a more medium, like a strong medium coverage foundation, a little bit on the natural matte side. These work really, really well together and really helps to have your makeup grip on, stay a little bit longer. But the foundation that I'm wearing today is the Dior. This is the Prestige Cushion Foundation. This is going to be more of a natural dewy finish, and they just didn't go together. So I need to be careful with what I'm pairing with this, but other than that, I will keep it, I will finish it, I will not repurchase it. Going back to this foundation, this is a nice foundation. It's not my favorite cushion foundation, and it's not my favorite cushion foundation from Dior. I love the Dream Skin cushion. That one's also less expensive than this one. I did a video first impression on this, and I don't believe I gave it a great review, but it does the trick for a cushion. It's nice and lightweight for summertime. I would like to get my money's worth out of this, and I'm just not ready to declutter it just yet. The Guerlain is really great. I love this a lot. This is a pretty popular foundation. Also did a first impression review on this foundation. I have the shade 2N. It's really nice, and I'll keep it for now. I did recently do a foundation declutter. I'm kind of in the middle of my declutter series. I don't know which videos have gone up yet, but I do know foundation has, and I like this enough to keep it. I decluttered, I think, like 30% of my foundations. So this can stay. And then the concealer that I pulled in order to kind of go with that foundation is the Guerlain Terracotta Concealer. This came out before the foundation. I did a dedicated review on this as well that you can check up in the cards there. But I actually like this concealer more than the foundation. Again, wearing it today. It's a nice, good, medium coverage concealer. I wouldn't say it's like the fullest coverage concealer that I have, but it's not a light everyday coverage. Like, this has some oomph to it. I think it's a nice soft matte finish. You can set it without it looking too powdery or making your eyes look really aged. This is a nice luxury concealer, and I can see why Guerlain kind of expanded on the Terracotta line because this was such a hit with them. So that was a concealer. Happy I used that a little bit. The only thing I will say that I don't love is that this doe foot, kind of like, you have to really pull it to get it out, and it's kind of a small doe foot for a luxury product. That's my only con. Moving into powder, we have drugstore. So this is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. I probably used this the most this past month. I really enjoy this powder. There's maybe starting to be like a little bit of a dip. So really like it. I like the translucent version. I think that they come in shades with this powder, but I would probably repurchase the translucent if I was to even go through this and need to repurchase it. It is nice and blurring. It's lightweight on the skin. Very similar to maybe the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder, but not as finely milled. A good alternative though, if you just don't want to spend the money on the Charlotte Tilbury. I think this is great. Now we're going to move on to cheek products. I usually pull a cream bronzer, blush, and highlight, and a powder bronzer, blush, and highlight. So let's talk bronzer first. For the cream, I pulled the Marc Jacobs Glow Away. I really like this a lot, actually. What I like about this is, I mean, one, you get an insane amount of product, but mainly what I love about it is it's so stiff and easy to use. So when I put it on the skin, I always use this for underpainting. It really grips onto the skin and doesn't move around that much. And I can actually see it through my foundation. There's a lot of the times with cream products, I find that when I do underpainting, I just don't see it as much as I'd like to through the foundation. This you can really see, and it almost creates like a good contour shade underneath when you underpaint with it. I really actually surprised myself at how much I like this because it kind of doesn't give you that thought. It looks a lot darker. It kind of has some gold shimmer running throughout it. So I was surprised that it gave kind of this really nice chiseled feature to my cheeks like a contour would, and very much looking forward to using this some more. I might decant some of this into a different container. If you're subscribed to my channel, then you know I do a project pan, and I'm working on a trio of cream products, and I already finished the bronzer. So I was kind of thinking of decanting that and putting it in there so I could use more of it up. But no complaints about that. I will continue to use it until it just gives out on me. For powder bronzer, I pulled the Flower Beauty Heatwave bronzer. This is really pretty, but I do have the darker shade, which is Sunswept M1. So with the Marc Jacobs and underpainting and this, I have to be pretty careful. Like I would say even this is like borderline too much bronzer going on, but it's really nice. I can see why the lighter shade was so popular. I don't typically always love a luminous cheek product, but this gives the right amount of luminosity where I don't feel like I'm just piling on a almost highlighty bronzer. So this was really nice. It's actually unopened in my collection, a part of my drawer of shame. So glad I finally got to get to use that. For blush, the cream that I pulled is the Giorgio Armani Neo Nude Melting Color Balm in the shade 30. This is one of my favorite summer blushes, so that's why I wanted to make sure that I pulled it out and used it. It's just a really pretty burnt orange shade. And if you're afraid of going orange, this is a really nice alternative to that. It's orange without being too orange, and I love it so much. I'm glad I finally got to get some use out of it. It's a shame that they discontinued this product because it is really, really great. For blush, this is a Becca blush in Wild Honey. Just a everyday nude blush. Kind of wanted something that would really pair well with this, tone it down if I wanted to, or just skip this and go with this if I wanted something more bright and summery. So happy to get some use out of this. Is this like the most special, innovative blush ever? No, but it is a really good formula. I will say it was quite powdery upon pickup, but I don't know, that could be age or it could just be the way that the formula was. Either way, I liked this a lot. For highlight, I only have a powder. I don't always pull creams because I don't have too many cream highlights and I don't love a cream highlight, but I decided to pull in my Benefit Cookie highlight. And I actually don't know if the highlight went up yet for my declutter, but I actually decided in my declutter, because I've already filmed it, to get rid of this. It barely has any use. Like it's still in really good condition, so I can easily pass this along to someone. It's not a bad highlight. I'm just trying to kind of lower my collection a little bit. It's still starting to just get a little overwhelming. I get into these moods sometimes where I just need to purge a little bit. And I was feeling good about my collection, and then I started just feeling a little overwhelmed. So we're purging. That's what we're going to do. I just kind of go off my feelings. I don't always go through my collection. In fact, I haven't done like a big declutter, I think, in like 2 years. I've just been decluttering here and there. But it was time to sit down and finally do it. And this Benefit Cookie highlight is getting the axe. So it is going. That brings us to lips though, and the second declutter. I'm going to declutter this. This is the Fenty Beauty Cream in Fenty Glow. I don't hate this, but it's a lot different than the original Fenty Glow. It's much more pink. I don't love an opaque gloss. I don't mind it, but it's not something I normally reach for. I barely use this. This has a lot of life left in it. I think my sister would really like this actually. And honestly, the final nail in the coffin is it doesn't fit in my acrylic lipstick holder on my desk. So that's just a huge pain in the ass. It makes a difference to me, honestly. Like if I'm going to buy a lipstick, I think especially go forward if it's just too big and bulky. So I am decluttering this. Not bad, but I just don't think I need it in my collection. And I don't really have the urge to want to finish that product. The other three I will be keeping though. So the first one that I pulled is a Pat McGrath gloss in Flesh Astral. This is my favorite of the Pat McGrath glosses. Still smells like buttercream. And it's just a really pretty nude gloss with some gold flecks in it. Goes with everything. I would like to finish up my Pat McGrath glosses. I think I'm like about here, so still a lot of work to do on that one. Then I have the Tarte Maracuja Lip Cream in Soft Rose. I actually use this much more than I thought. Like you can actually see some wear in the tube there. It's pretty. I like this better than the original Juicy Lips with the click-up pen. It's more just a traditional lipstick. I think that's why I like it. It's a nice color. Again, kind of goes with everything, so no complaints. It's a little mini, and it would be nice to finish this up. And then the last and final lipstick that I pulled is from Peri Para. This is one of their Mood lipsticks in the shade 05. And also have like pretty good wear on this too. It takes me a long time to finish lip products, trust me. This is a little bit more red, a little bit more warm than the Tarte. There it is right there, so you can see it, but it doesn't come up as red on the lips. There's the Tarte just for reference there. But I like that it's a little bit more shiny of a formula. It's kind of like a very thick gloss lipstick, and that is my preference when it comes to a lipstick. I don't love this kind of formula here. I can deal with it because of the color and just put a gloss on top, but this is my ideal kind of lipstick. And it's nice. Would I repurchase it? No, but it's a pretty one, and I'm happy to keep it, try to use it up a little bit more. Those are all my products that I have been using for the past month. So 2 declutters, which I actually feel really, really good about. Now I'm going to turn you around, and we're going to pick new products for the next month together. Here we are in the primer drawer, and I never know what I want to pull. I'm kind of thinking that I want to do another gripping primer, but I don't know because I just did one of those, but it's still summertime and it's still kind of hot out. Maybe I'll pull this in. This is the I'm Uni Watery Rose Makeup Base. It's kind of like an in-between, a little bit silicone-y, a little bit pore blurring, a little bit gripping, feels nice and cooling on the face. All right, I've convinced myself. This is what I'm going to pull. I also just like to finish this. It's so big and bulky. The jar is glass, which seems nice in theory, but also just like takes up a lot of space. So let's pull this in this month. For concealer, want to make sure I'm pulling in something that's a little bit darker. I feel like I haven't pulled in the Huda Beauty in quite some time, and it is a little bit darker for me. This is also one of my top favorite concealers, so I really don't want to neglect it. So I think this will be a good idea because I'm thinking for foundation, I want to pull in some lighter coverage summery foundations, some skin tints, and then this will give me kind of the coverage that I'm needing. So yeah, okay, we're doing the Huda. I'm going to pull in 2 foundations. I did recently redo my foundation drawers, all my drawers actually. I've been working on some declutters, but I think I'm going to pull 2 foundations from kind of, this is more of like my mid drugstore drawer, and then the drawer underneath is more of like my luxury foundations. I think that I definitely want to pull in the L'Oreal Age Perfect because this is in the shade 40, and I know it's one of my darker foundations in my collection. And then I think the second one I want to pull is going to be this. This is the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless. This is like, it's not a light coverage. It's not a skin tint. It gives a little bit something extra, but not too much extra. And I think it'll be good for days where I just want a little bit something more, especially with the Huda. So yeah, these are going to be my 2 foundations for the next month. I'm happy with that decision. Sometimes I double. Sometimes I second guess myself a little bit, but yes, I'm happy with this. Moving right along to the powder drawer. I actually already kind of knew which one I wanted to pull in, the Dior Powder No Powder, because this is a really nice powder foundation on its own. Again, just kind of thinking summer, thinking like if I don't want to wear a full-on foundation, I could just wear this powder and get some use out of it. So I'm going to pull this one in, but now I'm thinking maybe I should also pull in like an under eye powder. And maybe I'll pull in the number 7 Lift and Illuminate. This is supposed to be a dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury, and it is very nice. I finished an entire Charlotte Tilbury, and I'm kind of waiting to go through more powders before I repurchase it. But maybe I want to try this a little bit more because if this is a cheaper alternative, like I'll just stick with this powder instead. So I'm going to pull in an under eye powder and more of like a powder foundation. Now, I don't always pull in a face palette. Actually, usually most months I don't, but I should have done this months ago. This is the only unused face palette that I have in my collection right now, and it's pretty new, so I want to use it. It's the Tarte Aspen Ovard palette. I lusted and lusted over this palette, and I just haven't pulled it in to shop my stash, so I haven't used it. So I'm going to pull it in this month. I'm going to use these eyeshadows, No Pan Left Behind. I'm not going to pull a powder highlight, and I'm not going to pull a powder blush. I'll still pull a cream blush and a powder bronzer, but yeah, we're just going to try and use this palette a little bit and give it some love. Now I have zero idea what bronzer I want to pull. Like, do I pull in one that's unused? Or since I already pulled in that face palette, do I stick to something that's already opened? Maybe I also pull in something that's unused. I only have like 2 or 3 left. I'm kind of thinking this Clinique one, the Clinique Flower Pop and Solar Pop. I've had this unopened in my collection for a long time, and it looks like a really nice shade. I just can't get myself to declutter it, so I think now's the time I'm going to use this, and then the rest of the things that I'm going to pull today will be items that I've already used and known. So let's pull that. Scoot this back a little, fix this since I just rearranged this drawer and it's looking much nicer. Let's go to cream, bronzer, and blush. Here's the cream drawer. It's looking much better, much less intimidating. I need to be mindful of what I'm pulling. These 2 are definitely like my summer cream blushes. I have the Victoria Beckham in Fever, which is this really bright orange. Or I've also been wanting to pull in this Nude Sticks in Sunkissed, which is kind of like a really, it gives you the perfect sunburn look. And I've been really wanting to pull this in. This is also older in my collection. I would love to finish this up. So I think I'm gonna pull this one in this month, but next month I really, really need to remember to pull in this Victoria Beckham, or I'm gonna miss my chance at using it this year. And then for cream bronzer, I'm thinking maybe the Charlotte Tilbury, because this is my darkest cream bronzer in my collection. Definitely. I got the shade medium thinking it was similar to the powder bronzer. It's so much more darker than the powder bronzer, so I don't use this that much because of the shade, although it's a really nice formula, so I should probably use this while I can. And that'll complete all the complexion products. I think we just have lips and we're done. The lip drawer is also just one of the hardest ones for me because I just never know what I'm gonna want to wear. But we're gonna pull 4 into focus in on. I do have the drawer above this with all the ones that I've already pulled just to make sure that I'm rotating through them. Let's pull in this Bare Minerals gloss in Sincerity, I think. So that'll be a gloss. Then I'm gonna pull in, I need to make sure I'm pulling in different formulas. Ooh, one of these Charlotte Tilburys, whichever one this is. Let's see, which one are you? JK Magic, so that'll be a nice nude. And maybe I'll actually just pull all 3 lipsticks in with the gloss. So I have Amazing Them All, and then I can't see the Vergara one, I think. That's kind of like a more red tone. And then I have like a berry. That just makes the most sense to pull these 3 in, and then a lip gloss. I'm very happy with that choice. Let me turn you around now. I'm not going to overthink the lipsticks, and we'll kind of recap what I've pulled. So here's everything that I have pulled for kind of the end of July, beginning of August. I'm pretty happy with all these. I'm super excited to be using this, and the eyeshadow shades are just really gonna work well for summertime because I don't love putting a ton of makeup on in the summertime when it's hot. And I'm excited to try out this bronzer and just figure out a little bit more. Maybe like experiment with some different types of lip colors that are a little bit brighter and not necessarily a nude. So this is pretty much the end of Shop My Stash. Let me know all your thoughts down below. If you tried any of these products, if you love any of these products, of course, I'd love to chat with you down in the comment section. But this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.